I'm so fired up for this New York Jets LA Chargers matchup. It's going to be spicy and can't wait to get into it. Let's get into some more details as we get closer and closer to Monday Night Football, baby. Let's roll the footage. Let's get this thing started. It is unequivocally the Super Bowl for New York Jet fans.
Field Yates, baby. Field gosh darn Yates. Let's bring him on the show.
Come on, people. Connor Rogers is joining the show. What's up, Connor? But Trevor gosh darn Sikkema, baby, for me, personally, my favorite New York Jet of all time.
Wow, it's great to be on. What an intro that was right there.
Paul, nobody does an intro like you, man.
Paul, you give the best intro of literally any podcast that I've ever been.
I'm gonna lose my gosh darn bananas.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Paul Eston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also audio version only available as well. What a fun episode with Ethan Greenberg yesterday. Hope you guys got to check that out live from the New York Jets studios. That was a lot of fun. And we got another fun one for you today because Ty gosh darn Butler, all those wonderful people at ESPN 98.7 in New York, they're cranking, baby. And we got one of the best in the business, budding superstar. Soon to be, you're going to see one of those like Twitter articles. Ty Butler signs crazy mucho money long-term extension. That's happening. That's happening. And he's, of course, going to send his royalty checks from where it all started in ESPN in Syracuse, of course, obviously. But anywho, we'll worry about that off camera. Let's bring him on the show. Ty Butler. Good morning, sir. Yes, sir.
Yo, man, from your lips to God's ears. What's up, man? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. By the way, I know this is we're late in Chargers week here, but Brandon Jacobs, he pay up yet? What's happening there?
Yes, I haven't spoken to him, and I want to say it's been not. So now it's 13 days when we made the bet. 13 days ago. So we're gonna be on the air tomorrow at 11 on 98.7 ESPN in New York. Looking forward to it, man. I'm not gonna lie and say I wasn't nervous about the Jets, snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. But he's got to pay up, man. So I'm looking forward to see what he's got cooking. I want to know if he's got the airlines, looked up and going on as far as like the restaurants. I haven't picked a restaurant yet. I think Del Frisco's might be the way to go, though.
Yeah, that's not too shabby. Yeah, see, that's the fine line because there was moments during that Giants game where I just kind of, and again, it's funny, our former Syracuse guy, Tommy DeVito. Actually, is it? It's somewhere over there. I have an autographed Tommy DeVito football. That's a story for another day, actually, which is a crazy story, but perhaps another day. But anywho, he comes to the game. I'm like, you got to be effing. You got to be crapping me here. And there were moments during that game where I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be the most embarrassing loss in Jets history.
Yes.
And I'm like, man, this is going to be hard for my brain to rationalize as a normally positive guy to try to see the silver lining here. And then to win the game, and again, I am a win is a win, and you win in any ugly way, and then you have a brand new game. Because again, the Jets also this season have beaten the Eagles, so like the only team to do so. So the fact of the matter is, every week is a weekend to itself. But man, that was close.
It's a roller coaster. It's also like when I don't know if you were watching the CBS broadcast, which I'm sure you were.
Yes.
But had a great call. But when he's doing that countdown, it gave me so much anxiety because it brought me back to the Denver game, obviously, where they couldn't get the field. And he's like, 5, 4. And I'm just like having a mini heart attack. So when they finally spike it, I was just like, oh, man, now Greg Zuerlein's going to miss this game.
Oh, yeah. And remember, you correct me if I'm wrong, because, again, the game's a blur, right? So that may have been an overtime. The bad snap where Thomas Morstead had to like go and set it up. I'm like, I can't remember if that was overtime or regular season, but that scared the crap out of me too, especially in overtime because like it seemed like they took forever to decide field goal, and then they rush on the film like guys, it's like first down. We don't have to rush. Don't shake this. And then
so Brian Dable, I think Giants because twice in go for it situations he elected to kick, got burned twice,
Mm-hmm.
and that included obviously that 4th and 1
Mm-hmm.
where the Jets had just watched Saquon Barkley run all over their defense. Al Woods going out was a critical part in that game that was underrated. But
Yeah.
Saquon was off for $126, and the Giants, essentially playing for their season, decided that instead of having the best player on the field get 1 yard, which he had been doing all game long against a Jet defense that was undisciplined, so either he was going to get the yard or they were going to do some ridiculous or commit some ridiculous
Probably. Yeah.
move the chains. So instead of doing that, he sends out his kicker, who right now is headed for season-ending surgery. So that was a mess. But just to go back to that play you're talking about,
Yeah.
where the Jets are trying to figure out what they want to do. Brian Dable called a timeout.
Oh yes, I forgot.
So the Jets had just called a timeout, which
They
means
can't call back to back. That's correct.
back-to-back.
That's a rule. Yep.
So when 7 seconds is on the clock, and I'm watching them, Greg Zuerlein come on the field, and now you got like your third string center, so there's all kinds of messes going on. And Brian Dable calls a timeout. I'm thinking, thank God. Like what? Like any reason why he called a timeout there? That made no sense.
A weird icing situation. Oh wait, you guys aren't ready yet. What? You ready? Okay, go ahead. Yeah, that was very obtuse. Thank you, Brian Dable. Used to be a former Jets coach. Pour one out for you today. Thank you very much, sir. I
He
guess.
was handing them the game, and for the first 59 minutes and 36 seconds, they didn't want the game. They did not want it. I mean, dumb penalty after dumb penalty.
Yeah.
But ultimately, they were able to come away with the win. Now they're 4-3. They got this big game against the Chargers on Monday night. A Chargers team that is very talented. It's the story of the Chargers is the same every year.
Yeah.
Very talented team, not very well coached. They're going to be in a one-score game and find a way to either win it or lose it because of some dumb decision that they make.
That's it. And that's why it's funny that coaching is the theme or start of this show, because Brandon Staley is one of the worst coaches I've ever heard. They have so much talent, they never and I guess it's not just him, because it's been the Chargers organization. You go back to 14-2 Marty Schottenheimer years, or you go to the mid 2000s with Norv Turner and those Phillip Rivers, LT Sproles teams. Damn. I mean, they've had crazy talent. They're like people say about the 1998 Minnesota Vikings all the time. You had Chris Carter, Randy Moss, that nasty team that would have ate the Atlanta Falcons for breakfast, if they would have beaten the Atlanta Falcons at NFC Championship game, they would have beaten whoever, the Broncos or Jets, in that Super Bowl. And the Chargers could be on all of those teams. Well, they could have won it. They could have won. They're on all those too. But Brandon Staley sucks as a coach. I mean, he's the same guy. The Chargers were up 24-27-0 in a Jaguars playoff game and blows it. So I don't know. And I think Justin Herbert's overrated too, man. I've watched Justin Herbert all year. He misses so many wide open throws.
In that Cowboys game, I mean, he had Keenan Allen open for 2 touchdowns that he missed, and they ended up losing that game. So that Brandon Staley part is accurate. I actually liked Brandon Staley first, because I think there was such an overreaction to being aggressive. The anti-analytics community is just searching for that blood in the water. And as soon as you find a head coach who's committed to being super aggressive to the point where he fails, you're all over him. John Harbaugh is super aggressive on 4th down. No one kills him because he's a champion, and also because he's one of the best coaches in football.
Of course.
So, yeah, I was in on Staley, but then it got ridiculous. And as you mentioned, 27-0 in the playoff game, and the way to lose to Jacksonville when Trevor Lawrence threw 4 interceptions in the first half just made no sense. But Justin Herbert, he is also in that weird territory, because is he better than Dak Prescott?
I mean, people would say, but I would I'm not.
Right?
Of course.
You feel like you're watching a quarterback who's better than Dak Prescott, but Dak wins more than Justin Herbert. Herbert's never won a playoff game.
Yeah.
So, when Micah Parsons comes out and he's like, "Well, keep that same energy for everyone else," he's kind of right. He's also kind of wrong. You're the Cowboys, so you're also going to get the brunt of the
course.
Mm-hmm. But the point is that Herbert should be winning more than what he's won. Should we be winning at a higher rate than he is? But they just can't seem to put it together. And we knee-jerk reaction go to Brandon Staley's the worst coach. Part of that, though, is what you mentioned. Herbert's becoming a little bit overrated.
He is. And I've heard from some Jets people, they think this Chargers team's soft. They think they're going to punch them in the face and they're going to crumble like in a boxing match. And then you punch a Pillsbury Doughboy right in the belly button, all the air comes out. That's what's going to happen. Booyah! A little bit of that because, again, there is a finesse. There's a softness to who the Chargers are. They are this team that likes to kind of prance around, and some of their prancing around, I think, sometimes doesn't work. So if you're able to do that, like obviously the other factor is Herbert's injured. He's been doing all these weird combinations. We talked with a few Chargers people this week. They had that long coverage thing on it's the non-throwing hand, but either way, the thing that he's been dealing with, a lot of people are kind of saying, if the Jets can bring some pressure, he's not going to have all the time in the world to keep patting the ball and doing all his crazy crap he was doing in that terrible Bears game where they just kind of lit him up like a Christmas tree. Like the Jets are going to bring a little bit more aggressiveness. I don't think the Chargers offensive line is going to be ready for.
Yeah, but that could work. That can work the reverse way too. I would caution Jet fans about the whole punching in the mouth thing, just because. I mean, look, we still don't know the status of the offensive line. It looks like
Of
Dwayne
course.
practicing, and
Yeah.
I mean the conversation every week, right? Like who's going to be in a fun little game that they play. But with Khalil Mack, he's been awesome this year, and obviously Bosa on that defensive line. The Chargers can generate pressure. They're good against the run. They're not a good pass defensive team, but it's still a Jets organization. It struggles with creating offense, and it doesn't matter who the quarterback is, doesn't matter who the coach is, doesn't matter who the wide receivers are. It's like every single year we're talking about this team being offensively deficient, and that game last week, I mean, should have been a blowout. Like if I had told you Tommy DeVito won't be allowed to throw a pass for the Giants, they're going to finish with -9 yards of passing yards.
Yeah.
All they can do is run the ball, and we know Saquon's awesome.
Yeah.
But when you eliminate the passing game and you just give it to your running back, we saw that
football
in
team, yeah.
right? Like we saw that with the Niners. And the Jets are gonna win in overtime because of a DPI. Are you kidding me? Which is why everything's on the table, man. Like,
Yeah.
I understand being confident 4-3 is 4-3, but after that dumpster fire we just watched, but people are like, was that a football game, or are we just calling that just because we have to?
Yeah, right.
But but I mean, it's hard to pump your chest out after that. Again, a win is a win. You take it. In the end, it's not going to matter. And Salah said something like that. Like they count how many you have, not how you got there.
Yeah.
But that was disgusting, man.
Yeah, here's what I'm struggling with. So I didn't get to use these notes in our Chargers interview earlier this week. The Chargers have the worst pass defense in the NFL. So they're last. They allow 297.4 yards per game. Not only are they last, there's such a large gap, a line of delineation between 32 and 31. There's 32 teams in the league. It's over 36 yards between the last place team and the next. So they're last, and they're last by a wide margin. But to that same point, you'd think a Zach Wilson breakout game, which I've argued this week is going to happen. And the thing is, you have to be protected long enough to be able to take some of those deep shots, to take some of those mid to intermediate passes. But with Khalil Mack, who has like something like 8-9 sacks this year, you have Bosa, who's coming after you too, and we still don't know. Even Laken Tomlinson is now potentially up in the air for this game, and he has started like 106 games in a row. So the one guy you thought you had at least is now he's up in the air. So that's the thing I'm struggling with, is I see that on paper, and I love a lot of the stylistic matchups for the Jets, which makes me feel very good about this game. But something like that, the raw talent, Mack and Bosa, they sometimes line them up on the same side. There's a lot there that could potentially, all my prancing through the prairie with all these flowers, like, ooh, I feel great about this game too. It could turn around very quickly.
Yeah, and he had the 6-sack game against the Raiders. What was that, like a month ago? So he's found that fountain of youth. Kirk Herbstreit said something that I thought was very interesting on the broadcast this past Thursday. Steelers Titans, and Steelers fans are just all over Matt Canada. They're just not a fan of how he calls games, and he was just kind of using his football brain to surmise that maybe the reason why Canada calls games the way that he does is because he's playing.
Oh, I heard this. Yeah.
He's playing to the strength of their team, knowing they have an elite defense that can obviously get to the quarterback, that can score some points on that end. So let me not screw this thing up by turning the ball over, putting them at a disadvantage, flipping field position, or not flipping field position, and being at such a disadvantage in that regard. So I wonder if like you can apply that to Nathaniel Hackett, where Jet fans every single week are crushing him. Maybe he's not a great offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Maybe it is just that Aaron Rodgers is one of the best we've ever seen, and that's why he was able to help him get 2 MVPs, right? Or it can be, or I shouldn't say, in addition to that, maybe it's also what Kirk Herbstreit was saying Matt Canada's doing, understanding the strength of the team's defense. Let's not do anything to get in their way by throwing the ball all over the field and risking turning it over, knowing that we don't have a quarterback who's capable of doing those extraordinary things. So let's keep it simple, try to run short passes, and then get off the field.
Yeah, that could make sense. Matthias, by the way, says Chargers are very good against the run. I just think people are passing so well against them that people are not even really running the football. I think that's more so the case. And here's another one. I don't know if you saw this tweet yesterday. I was in the lab. I'm like, I'll take the time necessary to do this. I'll check on every quarterback to double check this stat. Here's a stat, a Zach Wilson stat for you people. If you missed it on my Twitter account, @BoyGreen25. Here it is. There are only 2 quarterbacks this season that have only thrown 1 interception in their last 170-plus passing attempts. Zach Wilson, who has exactly 170, and C.J. Stroud, the rookie quarterback for the Houston Texans, who's only thrown 1 pick all year, and he has 237 passing attempts. And that's a list. Look at old Zach Wilson. Turnover monster and wave the magic wand. Okay.
But
there's Zach Wilson, baby. Huh?
I love it, but you don't mention the fact that he's also been fumbling nonstop. Last week, one of that was on the center who just
Newman. For sure that one was on Newman. But yeah, the KT strip sack, 100% on Zach.
Yeah, that he had the fumble against the Chiefs. And
that's true.
Going back to the interception, the last interception he threw was in that Denver game late.
Cowboys game, actually.
He threw an interception in the Denver game.
Which one was that?
That was week 5. That was
Well, who did he throw the? Oh, right. Patrick Surtain, the weird thigh interception. You're right. Yes.
Already in the red zone, trying to lock the game up. He threw that interception. Russell Wilson comes back and then they get the strip sack. But look, he's played better. I thought last week was a regression. I don't know what Dan Orlovsky was talking about, saying that he played a great game.
Oh, Daniel Jeremiah said that too. He joined the Rich Eisen show and said, yeah, I went back to the tape and he said, I really love everything I saw. He said, outside of like holding the ball too long, getting sacked and stuff like that. He said something, here's basically the line. I'm going to paraphrase it a little. I'm not saying he's going to the Hall of Fame, but if you can't see progress with Zach Wilson this season, then you ain't watching tape. Something like that is what he said on the Rich Eisen show this week.
Look, Dan Orlovsky uttered some of the same sentiments.
Yep.
Like it's hard to be on your third string center, not have a running game. No one's getting open outside of Garrett Wilson. You're going up against a really good Giants defense.
Sure, context, right? Yeah.
They've been good the last 3 weeks, starting with that Bills game and then last week against the Commanders and then into the Jets. Kayvon's been awesome. Dexter Lawrence all over the place. So when given context, you can try to talk your way into, maybe Zach Wilson was that bad. But we watch football. We watch a ton of football. We're not the experts that are Orlovsky and Daniel Jeremiah. That was not a very good game from Zach. He needs to be better this week in order for them to win this game.
Yeah, and again, the cool thing was it was cool to see with 24 seconds. What about the swag, man? I brought this up on the postgame show after, but so Zach Wilson at the postgame presser after the game. So obviously they missed the field goal, 24 seconds are on the clock, and then we see Zach go out there, deliver 2 throws, and have all the right things happen. KT's penalty stopped the clock so it wouldn't run after the Garrett Wilson catch, which set everything else up. But he goes to the postgame and they ask him about that scenario, and he goes, 24 seconds, we got this. And he said, we've been killing it in 2-minute drives all season. He didn't smile, break it. He was dead ass serious. But I'm just wow, okay, 24 seconds, no problem. Look at old Zach Wilson. My boy's becoming a man, baby.
Yo, you know what's funny? There's something to he's better when it's like YOLO football.
Mm-hmm.
Like when there's no set system, when there's like a lack of organization. Like when you're asking him to, for over the course of 60 minutes of a game, manage it, do the right things. Here's the play, you know, run by a set of just set of offensive plays. I don't. He's not very good, but there's something to when it's sped up and it's just like,
Crazy.
F it.
And how can they not manifest that? That's what I don't understand from Hackett. Like, so we've seen this all the time. So the end of the Cowboys first half, he did the same thing. He did it a couple of games. He's done it in Chief games,
in the New England game.
New England game. Like, man, you see, like, whoa, okay, fans like, here it is. Here's the slice, and Hackett's like, yeah. I don't know what the commonality is. We're like, the commonality seems to be in these situations. He does it. Why can't we just do that all the time? Well, it's not that easy. Well, okay, I guess I'm a fan. You're the coach, I guess. But it seems pretty self-explanatory, I guess. But I guess that's neither here nor there. But it seems like something. Seems like something they could potentially capitalize on. But hey, again, Zach Wilson. Look at that kid. Zach Wilson, C.J. Stroud. What an elite list. That's all I'm saying. But anywho, Ty, before we get you out of here, Jets Chargers predictions. It's sexy. It's a standalone game. They're just going to have a lot of those. Got Chargers this week. Las Vegas Raiders Sunday Night Football the following week. We're going to have the Black Friday football game against the Dolphins coming up. We got some games, baby. We got some games.
Yeah. And the NFL decided not to flex out of that.
Nice.
They had a chance to. And you see, the Jets have actually been giving them some good numbers with the NFL. Like
3 of the top 5 most watched games this season include the New York Jets. That's true.
People want to tune in to see Zach Wilson in the 2-minute drill, man.
That's what I'm talking about. That's elite stuff.
I'm going to go 24-20. Jets win.
Oh, thank God. Excellent. 5-3 sounds good, baby. And this is, again, it's the title of the video, so we'll end it with this. Major future playoff implications. Again, my eyes personally, and maybe I'm too high, but my eyes are set on the division. So I'm rooting for the Bengals this week. I'm rooting for the Chiefs in Germany this week because I have my eyes set on the division. However, if the Jets don't win the division, which they haven't done since 2002, you're going to be fighting for a wild card. And these teams like Chargers, Bengals, or Ravens, whoever does not win that division, Browns, like these are all the teams you're going to be playing in the water with. So, head-to-head tiebreakers. We think of a 0-0 Week 9 game. How could this possibly matter? We fast forward a bunch of weeks to the end of the season. Like, holy shit, the Jets won that game. Great. Oh, man, the Jets lost to the Chargers. That sucks. Not only do you have to match records, you have to be one game better to avoid the tiebreaker entirely. So, this one's más importante, as they say in the Espanol community. So this one, circle that one. That's all I'm saying.
Yep, and the Steelers winning this past Thursday, they're going to be in the mix, maybe that division or wild card spot as well.
How the hell are the Steelers 5-3? Ty? No, seriously.
Well, because
they've been outgained in every single game this season, and they're 5-3. They're the first team in NFL history that's had a winning record with that statistic I just told you.
Because Mike Tomlin is as good as he is.
He's inevitable. He's had a winning season every year, and I thought this was the year he wouldn't. They're 5-3, and then I looked at their garbage ass schedule. They're playing all these scrub teams like the Packers and shit, and I'm like, come on, man.
As great as Mike Tomlin is, he's still one of the most underrated, underappreciated coaches in football. And worst case scenario, he's going to give you a 500 season. And we know that if he's better, they can get into the playoffs and do some damage. They don't have the talent to win a Super Bowl. But they are showing you, even with a quarterback who no one really believes in, even Steelers fans don't believe in him.
I hate that guy. He sucks.
By the way, George Pickens, what is he doing going on social media?
Scrub. What a scrub move. He's I don't know. He's got too much going on there.
Elijah Moore did that, and it's just an immediate.
You're winning. Again, if you're not, if Davante Adams and all those losses, right? He starts flapping the gums. Okay, you're Davante Adams, and okay, the either your winning isn't very sustainable, and then the losing's happening. Like, okay, fine, George Pickens, you're winning. Shut the hell up, man.
That's a terrible move. But yeah, shout out to Mike Tomlin, man. That's an incredible coaching job he's doing this year.
Salute to Mike Tomlin. Unbelievable. Well, Ty, set us up. What's your schedule coming up this weekend, today and tomorrow?
Well, we're off today, but we'll be on the air tomorrow at 11 a.m. Brandon Jacobs previewing Giants and the Raiders tomorrow. Also, of course, the Jets and the Chargers Monday night. which should be fun, man. I'm looking forward to it. He owes me some. Dinner.
Better order the fixins, get a little extra. When they come over, white chicks, perhaps a salad, perhaps not, and go to other parts of the menu. That's what I want you to do, Ty. Tickle the menu.
Yeah,
Find the menu.
3 to 4 cocktails, the most expensive ones on the menu.
Another,
man.
please. Waiter. Waiter. Yeah. Oh, that's gonna be pictures, videos. We want to see it on the Instagram, social medias. I want a full experience. I want to feel like I'm there, like a third chair is pulled up at that dinner. That's what I want to feel like, Mr. Ty Butler. Please do.
We'll have all that popping on
prime rib. You're getting suggestions from the fans in here. This is phenomenal. Okay,
man. Make sure y'all hit me up on Twitter at Ty D Butler. I'm on Instagram as well. So get at me, y'all. Get at me.
All right, beautiful. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll be on with James Woody tomorrow. Not a game day show, of course, because of Monday Night Football, but nonetheless, we'll be back on tomorrow morning at 7:30. Thanks everybody, and take care.